Traces of Easter, number 4 by Godly Play and Church Publishing. We are still in the purple season of Lent as we prepare for the mystery of Easter. And we remember how in the beginning the baby was born and how God chose Mary to be the mother of God, and the Word became a wordless child. But when the Christ child looked into the face of the Mother Mary, he could already see the cross. And when he looked into the face of the Father Joseph, the cross was there too. Mary and Joseph held Jesus close. They kept him warm and took care of him and gave him everything he needed. And the baby began to grow. The boy grew to be about 12 years old, and they took him from their small town in Nazareth to the great city of Jerusalem to celebrate a high holy day. And after the celebration was over, they headed back down the road to Nazareth. But suddenly, they looked around and they realized Jesus wasn't with them, so they hurried back to Jerusalem. They looked everywhere for him, in the place where they had stayed, in the roads and alleys, at the places where they had eaten. They searched and searched for 3 whole days until finally they decided to go to the temple. And that's where he was. He was there with the priests and the people who knew the law. He was listening to them and they were listening to him. He listened because he wanted to learn more, and they listened to him because he knew so much. And Mary and Joseph asked him the question that many parents ask their children, and you don't always know how to respond. They said, "Why have you done this?" And Jesus answered, "Didn't you know that I would be in my Father's house?" I wonder if Joseph was confused. His father's house was back in Nazareth, where Joseph's carpenter shop was. They didn't understand what he meant, but they did not forget. The boy grew and became a man, and when he was about 30 years old, he went across the Jordan River, where his cousin John was baptizing people. Can you see John? This is just the back of his head, but you can tell that he was a wild man. He lived in the desert and ate bugs and wild honey, and he told people to repent, to change their ways, and to follow God. And then when Jesus came to John face to face, it was as if John was seeing Jesus for the first time. And Jesus said, "Baptize me." John said, "No, you are the Messiah who is to come. I should be baptized by you." But Jesus said, "This must be done to fulfill what is written in the scriptures." And so John baptized Jesus. He went down into the water, into the chaos and the darkness. And when he came back up, people said that they saw a dove descend, come down on Jesus, and they heard a voice saying, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." Then Jesus went to the desert, back across the Jordan River, to learn more about who he was and what his work would be. When Jesus went into the desert, there was little to eat or drink. He was there for 40 days and 40 nights, so he was very hungry. Then Jesus heard a voice that said, "If you really are the Son of God, why don't you turn these stones into bread?" But Jesus said, "No, to be truly human, we need more than just physical bread." Then the voice said, it was as if Jesus was on top of the temple, and the voice said, "If you really are the Son of God, throw yourself down from here, for the angels will take you up before your foot hits a stone." Jesus said, "No, we do not need to test God." Then it was as if Jesus could see all of the kingdoms of all of the world. And the voice said, "If you follow me, I will give you all of these kingdoms." And Jesus said, "No, I am to be a king, but not that kind of a king." And then the voice went away. Jesus came back out of the desert, ready to begin his work. Now I wonder if there is anything in our room or in your home that reminds you of this story. For me, I know we have some stones from the story of the great family when Abraham made an altar to God. And it reminded me of the stones from the story that Jesus was asked to turn into bread. And then the bread made me think of our matzah bread from the Exodus story and how those people needed more than just bread too. Then I thought, what else reminds me of this story? Well, Jesus quotes from the Bible because he knew its stories and its words so well. So I thought, I'll bring the beautiful Bible that we have here and put that beside the story as well. Maybe you can think of something that reminds you of this story, and then you can think about your work. You probably have your resurrection eggs. Maybe you can open one or two of those. Or maybe you can draw a picture, paint, work with clay, or whatever you have in your house, because only you know what is right for you.